This conference will now be recorded.
And how many of you installed MySQL or XAMPP? MySQL or XAMPP. So please type in the chat box how many of you installed. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, good. Yeah. So I could able to see most of you have installed. Now I'm going to start the session. I'm going to explain one by one how the installation will be, what are the problems you may face, how to rectify them, everything I'm going to install. As I'm going to inform. See, this is a XAMPP control panel. As I said yesterday, if you want to open it, you need to go to start bar, then go to XAMPP. So where your XAMPP is installed. So where your XAMPP is installed, you should go there. So in that, you should go to XAMPP control panel. So when you open XAMPP control panel, you could able to see this. So don't start directly MySQL. If you want to work with MySQL, first you need to start the Apache Tomcat. So first start the Apache. So it will take some time. So you just wait. So once the Apache starts, so how to know whether it is started or not? Here you will get the port number and also you will get the PIDs, right? Port IDs. Along with that, this one will become stop instead of start. Now you can start the MySQL. Now you can start the MySQL. So if, as I said yesterday, if you already have the MySQL, the default port number for MySQL is 3306. The default port number for MySQL is 3306. So if you want to have one more MySQL, as I installed yesterday, you can give another port number like 3307, 3308, 3310, some number. Otherwise, you cannot execute or you cannot start the MySQL. You cannot start the MySQL. So if you already see there is one question, sir, I had started MySQL before, only what to do? You just stop it, again start it from first. First start the Apache, then MySQL. If you started directly MySQL, you just stop it once, then start the Apache, then MySQL. Right? So this is how you should start it. Then go to config. As I said yesterday, there will be a service and port settings. See, these are the port numbers which we are using. So you can see here MySQL using default 3306. Tomcat default is 8080. I changed it to 8082. Right? So if you are getting any problem with port number, you need to change it here. But if you get problem with Apache port number, if it is showing error saying that Apache is not able to start due to some port error, then you should go to config. Then you need to go to php.ini. Please listen very carefully. So I'm just going back and showing once again. If you want to change the port number of Apache, so go to config, go to php.ini. So once you go to php.ini, search Control F 80. Right? So you keep on searching 80. So where 80 is there? Sorry. So no 80. It should be there. 1 second. We are configuration. I went to. Okay, sorry. So it is not PHP, right? We are not doing PHP. So we are doing still Apache only. So go to httpd.config. httpd.config. Right? So then go and search 80. Right? So you can see here when I search for 80, it is telling listen 80. Here you need to change the port number to some other number, whichever you want, or 8090. Don't use 8080 because it is used by the Tomcat. It is used by the Tomcat. Don't use 8080. Instead, use 8090 or 8081 or 84, some number. So it will be available in two places. One is this one, and also here. So in these two places, you need to change the port number. In these two places, you need to change the port number. So if you change the port number, then you could be able to use with the new port. I'm not changing it as of now because it is working default. Again, I am just repeating for your convenience to understand. If there is a problem with your Apache, So go to config, go to httpd config. But if you are working with PHP, then you should go to php.ini and config.php. If it is normal Apache, go to httpd.config. So once you go there, Control F, search for the 80 port number. You can see port number 80 in two places. So one is this one, listen. This one is not one which I am talking about because it is a comment. Hash is nothing but comment. So 80 can be seen two places, 80 here and here. You need to change the port number here and then start working with the Apache, right? In the same way, when you are working with Tomcat, if Tomcat is having the problem, go to config, go to service and port settings. So here there will be HTTP port. It will be default 8080. Now you change it to some other port number. So I'll just change it to 8084, right? And then save it. So this is how you should do. If your MySQL is showing error, not able to start, then go to config, go to service and port settings, then go to MySQL, change the port number here, and then save it. Right? So this is how you need to do the settings with respect to XAMPP server. If anybody is having the problem in XAMPP, please let me know. You installed it, but there is a problem. Please let me know. We'll try to rectify it. If anybody is having the problem after the XAMPP file which I sent, if you installed, is there any problem for anybody? So once you start the Apache and MySQL, you can see this. So then your work is done with the XAMPP server. Okay, Tomcat still in red color. Don't worry about the Tomcat. You stop the Tomcat. If Apache and MySQL is working, you just start working now. Later, I'll rectify your error with respect to Tomcat. If Apache and MySQL is working, you can start working. No problem. Tomcat later I'll rectify. As of now, we don't require Tomcat. So for this MySQL workshop, to work with MySQL, we required only two, Apache and MySQL. That's it. We don't want all these things, FileZilla, Mercury, and Tomcat. So if your Apache and MySQL is working, fine. Don't worry about the Tomcat. You stop the Tomcat service and leave it as it is. Okay. Yeah. So once you start this, you just minimize the screen. So nothing to do with that. The control panel work is done. Now you go to browser. So any of the browser you can go. So suppose I'm just going to Google Chrome. See, I have not changed any port number, right? This is where yesterday we got error because I'm keep on trying for new port. So now we have not changed any port number. Directly you type localhost, then enter. Just type localhost, then enter. So then you should see this screen. If you are seeing this screen, that means your XAMPP is working fine without any error. If you are able to see this screen, your XAMPP is working fine without any errors. Right? So those who are doing parallelly, please check whether your XAMPP is working fine or not. Just type localhost here and then you should get this screen. So how many of you got this screen now? Those who are doing in the laptop? If you got this screen, you just put a yes in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Good. Good. So most of the students, they are getting it. Is there any problem for anybody? Please let me know. We'll try to rectify and we'll go further. See, don't worry about the Tomcat here. You just worry about these two things. If these two are working, that is more than enough for our workshop. Tomcat we will see later. That is mainly for your Java purpose. We are having Tomcat here. Or when you want to work with PHP, you want Tomcat. MySQL is not getting started. So what is the error you are getting? Port error? executing net start. See, probably you might have installed both the MySQL. There might be the problem. So you try to change the port number of MySQL. Sir, I type localhost in Google, but I am not getting the screen which you're. See, don't type in the Google, type in the URL. Type in the URL, not Google. See, those who are getting MySQL problem, go to config, go to service and port settings, change here this number to some other number. Instead of 3306, you make 3340 or some number you give it. The default port number is 3306. You make it some other number. 3310 you can make it, then save it, then save it. Again, close the control panel. Don't start like it again. Close it, reopen it, and then start Apache, then start MySQL. Again, I'm repeating, those who are facing the problem, change the port numbers, close the entire control panel. Then open the control panel, first start the Apache, then start the MySQL. I think 1 or 2 students having the problem, remaining all are getting. So you try it, you will get it, don't worry about it. Still, if you have the problem, we'll try to rectify it. Okay, I'll be just going on. If you have purchased same problem, you let me know, we'll try to rectify it. Yeah, so once you get this screen, get this screen, what you need to do is click on PHP My Admin. Click on PHP My Admin. Click on PHP My Admin. So click on PHP My Admin. See, my system will be little slow because I have so many other softwares which are running. That's why it is taking some time. For you people, it will come fast. If you are using first time, it will come very fast for you. Return code 1223 for now one student. Okay, you do one thing. You just listen to the class. After 15-20 minutes, I'll just give 2 to 3 minutes break. Then I'll take your laptop into control and we'll see what best we can do. Those who are facing problem, 2 members, I'll try to rectify it. Till that time, you just follow the class, then we will do it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So once you click on PHP My Admin, hopefully everyone is able to see the screen. Everyone is able to see this particular screen when you click on PHP My Admin. Yes. Okay. So this is the screen where we are going to write the MySQL queries. This is the screen where we are going to write the MySQL queries, right? So this is the place where we are going to do the queries execution. See, if you are facing the problem, don't worry. The recording will be available. I'll give you the recording also. You can practice later. Those who are getting properly, you practice now. So we'll try to rectify the problems. 1 or 2 are there. We'll try to rectify them later. Okay. Now, so once you get into this screen, you can see here there are databases, SQL status, user accounts, export, import settings. See, all these are the features of MySQL what we discussed yesterday. All these are the features of MySQL which we discussed yesterday. Suppose if you want to write queries, you need to go to SQL. If you want to write queries, you need to go to SQL, right? And most of the companies today, they are using this software to connect their database. XAMPP software only they are using because this is one of the easiest software. Okay. So now here I need to write the query. So first, what is the query? As you need to create one database. So first you need to write query for the creating the database. Create database followed by the database name. I'll say like sample. Create database name. So that is the syntax. Create database, database name. Then the database has to be get created, right? The database has to get created. So create database, database name, just give go. If it executed properly, you will get like this. MySQL return empty set, that is 0 rows. So when it says 0 rows, that means your query is not having any problem. If not, you will get the error here in red color, right? Create database, database name. So I have created a database called sample. You can see here at the left, sample has been created. Sample has been created, right? Now you just click on that sample. Click on that sample. Now we are in sample. Then again you click on SQL. How do you know we are in sample? You can see here. So I'll just going back. You can observe clearly here. See, when I started initially SQL, the server is 127.0.0.1. There is no database selected. But when I click on sample, you can see here 127.0.0.1 is server and my database is sample. Rather than creating a query, can we go directly to database tab and can click? Yes, you can do that. I'll show you that, Rahul. See, Rahul asking without writing queries, can we do it? Yes, you can do it. That also I'll show you. But why I am showing queries is for your interview purpose. In an interview, they won't accept you if you do it directly. They want you to know the syntax. So that's why I'm showing the syntax. So later I'll show you how to do it directly. Okay. Okay. So now you are in your database called sample. Then go to SQL. Go to SQL. Now I need to create a table. Create table. Create table followed by the table name. I'll create like student. So I want to create a table called student with some parameters. Like USN. So USN is going to be varchar. Varchar is nothing but it is going to be combination of numbers and characters. So how much size you want? Suppose I want 20, comma, name, or I'll give S name. It is also going to be varchar with 30 size. Then I'll give email. It is also of varchar of size 50. Then I'll close it. So this is how you need to create a table. Create table, table name, open parenthesis, followed by the parameters with the data type. Right? So once it is done, you can click on go. So when you click on go, if there is no errors, you will get it this. So then you go back to SQL. You can see here your table has been created. Your table has been created. Either you click on this table and see your table structure, or what you can do is go to SQL. There is a command to see your table structure, which is called description of the table name. Desk student, right? So it will describe your information about your table. So desk student, desk table. What is the name I have created? Student. Okay, let me see what will happen now. So I have given description table student. So go. Okay, now you can see here. So if you get any error, it will come like this. So what is the error it is telling? Call to a member function get classes or null. So there is some error in your syntax. So why there is an error? So I'll just go back to my syntax again. See, the best part of XAMPP server, why we are suggesting is whenever you are typing some syntax, it is showing the information here. So that's why we are selecting it, right? So why it is not showing us description, we'll see. So I'll just click on this table now. Missing semicolon. Okay, Rahul is telling missing semicolon. Okay, Rahul, we'll see why it is missing semicolon. Guys, I'm just showing you because how the errors also comes, you need to understand. You need to understand errors also, because after the workshop, I won't be available. You should understand, right? So that is the reason I'm doing mistakes and I am showing you. Otherwise, I can do it directly, not a problem. Okay. Now, I just want to know the information of this query. Okay, Rahul is telling. So semicolon is missing. We'll put desk student semicolon. Okay, desk student semicolon. Then go. Okay, still we are getting the error. Same error it is repeating. Then, so what might be the problem? We need to know. Okay, so it is not about the semicolon. See, there are some queries which we cannot directly work in the XAMPP, right? But most of the queries it will support except one or two, right? So that's why we are not getting it. So desk, I'll come back to you later how to do it. So before going to that, because when we go to select, I'll show you how the desk will work. So now I created a database, I created a table. Now I want to insert the data. Now I want to insert the data. So how to insert the data? Insert into table. So table name is student, right? You can see here when I am writing this, it is showing some error. That means something is wrong in your syntax. What is the wrong? Already we are giving table name, then why we need again table keyword, right? Insert into table student. So values, I want to insert the values. What are the parameters we have taken? USN number, varchar 123, name, I'll put Satya. I think I have taken one more column, right? Email ID, ss@gmail.com. So I have entered something. We'll see what will happen now. ss@gmail.com. Okay, so here itself you can identify some error it is showing. Why it is showing error? Because so I have not taken, I want to enter email ID. So this is the problem what we are facing. See, though it is varchar, still we need to mention as it is a email ID, it doesn't know where to take, what to take. So that's why we are taking in the single quotes. Now I'll just execute it, we'll see what will happen. Yeah, so this is what I want to happen. Now you can see there is some error. There is some error, unknown column, Satya in field list. Why it is showing that? Why it is showing that? Because my syntax is wrong. My syntax is wrong. Why my syntax is wrong? See, I am entering the data. I am entering the data, but I am not telling which value belongs to which field. See, basically I have three fields. I am not telling which value belongs to which field. So that's why it is showing the error. Hope everyone is understanding. See, wantedly I am doing the mistakes so that you can understand very easily. See, this is actual syntax, but I need to assign these values to the particular field. When I am not doing it, there I am going to get the error. So how to rectify that error? So I need to know the syntax of insert. How to know the syntax of insert? So I'll just go ahead here. I'll put one enter. See, you can see here one insert button. You just click on that. You just click on that. Now, can you able to see the syntax? Can you able to see the syntax now? Insert into student. See, this is what I am missing previously. I have not mentioned the attribute names. I just mentioned this one. When I mentioned only this one, it doesn't know which one to assign to which variable. So that's why it is showing error. Now we can directly enter it. Now we can enter it. See, someone is telling we should enter values in single quotes. Yes, that is the best practice always, because whenever you give varchar, try to enter the values in single quotes. So I'm just entering USN values. I'm just entering some USN here. Okay, sorry. Followed by name. Followed by name. See, whenever you are giving varchar, try to enter the values in single quotes. It is a best practice. s@gmail.com. I close it. Now you can see the red symbol has gone. What does it mean? So there is no error. So this is the syntax for the insert. See, until you get practiced, you can take the help of these buttons. But once you write this query, this syntax is going to be fixed. Insert into table name, attribute, followed by the values and the values which you want to enter. And the values which you want to enter. So unless you get this practice, you try to use these buttons. But in your interview perspective, they'll ask the query. So what is the query here for insertion? Insert into table name followed by fields or attributes, whichever you call. Followed by the values for each field. So this is the default syntax for the insertion. This is the default syntax for the insertion. So that is what we are doing now. So I just delete it. Then I am going to execute this. What will happen? We'll see now. So I'll just execute it. Now you can see one row inserted. Again, go back and click on your table. Now you can see the data has been inserted here. The data has been inserted here, right? So this is how the data will be inserted with respect to a particular table. So we have seen two queries, creation of table and insertion of data into table. I'm just repeating. Creation syntax is create table, table name with fields. Whereas insertion is going to be insert into table name of fields values followed by the value for each field, right? This is how the creation and insertion will taken, right? Okay, so there is one question which is asked by one student. Can we use insert like this? Okay, we'll try this. See, the syntaxes which I am showing is default. Why I am showing default syntaxes is whether you work with MySQL, Oracle or DB2, this is going to be the default which you can use anywhere. Okay, so this is the student sent syntax. Now we'll see what will happen. Now we'll see what will happen this way. Okay, what happened? Still it got inserted. So that means, so the syntax either you can use like this or by assigning the values within the table, by assigning the values or fields within the table. See, why we'll follow that one is because when you have the multiple values, in order to avoid the confusion, we'll take that practice. You can also do it like this. You can also do it like this, right? So good, Hamza, you have taken good step and you have sent me the query. You reduce my work also. I thought of telling this next, you reduce my work. So either you can mention the field values here or without mentioning values also you can give. But only thing you should remember is whenever you are giving varchar, it should be in the single quotes. That is the best practice which you can do, which is very common in all the databases. All the databases, that is going to be the very good practice what we have. Okay, so this is how the creation and insertion of table, how to do it in the database. I want someone who is using mic. Please mute the mic. Yeah. So we have seen three things here. Creation of database. I want Suraksha to mute the mic, please. So we have taken 3 steps here. First we have created our database, then we have created a table, then we created inserted data, then we inserted the data. Now the next step, what we are going to do, where we can see the output. There is one question where we can see the output. Yeah, that is what I'm going to explain you in the format of queries. If you want to see the output just like that, you can click on the table. If you click on the table, you can see here, this is the table format. This is the table format, right? You could able to see the output. If not, so if you want to see the output using the query, so directly you can write select star from table name. Select star from table name. Please remember, select star from table name, then click on go. You can see here, whatever data we inserted, it is coming here. Whatever data we inserted, it is coming here. So either you can use select, or you can also click on the particular table to see the table data. To see the table data, right? So now we have seen how to see the data table, how to insert the data, how to create the table, how to create the database, how to create the database. See, first I'll explain you the basic syntaxes or basic queries. Then I'll also show you without queries how to create it. Then we'll go further with the extra queries. Then now, suppose if I want to update some data, what to do? So the syntax you can see here. So update student set whatever value you want to set, where some condition, where some, okay, I'll do one thing. Update I'll explain you once select and where I explain. First we'll see the select and where, then we'll go for the update. So before going to that, we can use the delete syntax. So you can see the syntax, delete from student where some condition. What is the where? Where is nothing but we are going to give some condition. So okay, delete and update I'll show you after the selection. Now what I'm going to show you is, these are the 3 or 4 queries which we have seen: insertion, selection, creation, and creation of the database. Suppose if I don't want to write the queries, in the XAMPP, once you go to the real time, no need to write the queries every time. See, as Harsha said, I think Harsha only or Harisha. I think Harsha only. Yeah, somewhere he said now. Sorry, Rahul. As Rahul said, we can directly use the GUI, which is called as graphical user interface. Now I'm going, if I want to create a database, directly go to new, click on new. Then you can create the database here. So I'll just create MySQL 123. That is my database. See here there are collations. Collations are nothing but, see, based on the real-time database which you are going to work, you need to give all these collations, right? For example, I want to enter German data, or I want to enter some local language. Suppose you can see here, you want to enter Japanese, you can use Japanese. If you want to enter Czech Republic data, you can enter Czech, right? Germany data, I mean their language. German data is nothing but their language. So if you want to enter different languages, you can use it. You can see here, these are all the different languages which are available, right? So if you want to enter some Indian related languages, so you can go for UTF-8 bin. So it will accept all our Indian languages, right? So this is how we are going to take the collations. But default, you don't need to give any collation. So whenever there is a requirement, we will give from the program side. See, collations we are not going to give here because the collation will be done from the program side also. So if you want to create a database, click on new. So you will get the name of the database you need to give, then create. So the database has been created. Yeah, you can see here, database has been created. Just click on that database. Now I want to create a table. You can see here directly, you can create a table. What is the name of the table? I'll just say employee. I want to create employee. How many columns you want? I'll say like 3 columns. How many maximum columns you can take? Okay, so you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So almost like 1 lakh plus columns. Actually, there is a limitation. 25,000 records MySQL will allow. as it is a paid version. As it is a paid version, it will allow only 25,000 records as of now. So employee 3, then click on go. Now you can see the employee table has been created. The employee table has been created. Now we need to give what are the attributes or what are the fields. I'll say like employee ID, employee name, then I'll also say employee email ID. Okay, one more thing I want all of you to understand here. Why I am giving this notation. For student I gave SUSN number, SID, SName, SEmail ID. Like that you should use notation. This is called global notation. Just for better understanding, we'll be giving like this. Right? Now, what is the data type you want to give? You can give. So MySQL will support these many data types. Based on your requirement in the real time, you can use. Suppose you want to enter only numbers, you can use integer, or you can also use byte, right? So if you want to enter both integer as well as characters, then you can go for varchar. Suppose if I want to enter only integer, I'll just give integer. So for varchar, for name, I'll use varchar. For email ID, I'll also use varchar. Or for name, I'll take only text, right? So now, what is the size? So EID, I'll say like size of 10. This is size of 50. This is size of 50, right? Then, so what is this? We'll see. So if you want to make, as I said yesterday, if you remember, we can also make some fields null, default null. So if you want to give default value as null, you can give. Or current timestamp, what is the current time you want to give, you can give. If not, you can leave it as it is. So here also don't give any collisions because that will be done from the programming side. Okay, I'm not going to do anything here now. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave all these fields. I'll show you further. Once you get little familiar with the database, then I'll show you what are all these things. So now table data is been entered, right? Table data has been entered. Now what I will do, I'll just go and save. I'll just go and save. We'll see what will happen. Now the table has been created. Now that table has been created. You can see here. Suppose if I want to insert data into this table, just go and click on insert. So now you can see. So it is asking for EID. I'll just enter EID, right? So I'll just enter some value. You can see here, because I have given as a integer, it is not accepting the character. So here I'll give characters I have given. Now I'll enter number, right? So what will happen? So text, under text, the numbers also will be considered. So I'll just enter some name here. Yeah. Then email ID I'll give some s@gmail.com. Yeah. So like this, you can keep on entering data into your table. You can see here, you can enter 2 rows. At a time, you can insert 2 rows, or if you want, you can insert up to 40 rows. Up to 40 rows, you can insert at a time, right? Once you insert all the data, you just click on go. If you want to insert 40 rows at a time also, you can insert. So one row inserted because I have given only one row data. So now I'll just go and click on that table. You can see the data, whatever we inserted, it is available here. It is available here. So this is how the default way of doing the uh, creation, deletion, all those activities, right? So either you can write the queries or you can do this. See, most of the companies, once you get into company, you will use the GUI. You are not going to write the queries until unless there is a requirement. Until unless there is a requirement, you won't use the queries. But why you need to study the queries? Because you are all freshers. When you go for interview, they'll ask queries, right? They're going to ask queries. So there is one question. Can you repeat the procedure after save? Okay, nothing I have done. I just created the table here. Then I saved it. Once I saved it, I just went to insert. So when I go to insert, I could able to enter the data. EID, I'll just enter like 111. So some name we need to enter. So I'll just some default name. I also enter some Gmail, email, gmail.com. then I'll just say go. So the data will be inserted, and while inserting you can see here the query is executed. So whatever default query we will write, it will be executed. It will be executed, right? Now if I click on employee, I could able to see some more data has been inserted, right? These are the main commands which you need to remember as a fresher in the interview. Still we have, but these are the main commands: how to create the database, how to create a table, how to insert the data, how to see the data. And you need to also know the update, delete, all those things that we will see after selection. So any questions up to this you can ask. Any questions up to this you can ask. So any question is there, you can ask in the chat box. I'll be just continuing without wasting the time. Now we'll go for the next command. I'll just go to student table only. Now we'll go for the next command called selection. Next command called selection. So there are so many select commands. So you can use select command in different ways. First I'll show you default select command. Select table student. Sorry, not table, because table name we are giving, right? Select star from, oh my god, yeah, select star from student. Select star from student. So now what will happen, we'll see. So go. You can see here whatever data is there in student, it is visible now. So that means star is nothing but, if you want to see the entire data in the table, you can use star. Select star from student. See, there is a edit here. You can see here one edit. For your practice purpose, you can see one edit here. If you click on that edit, it will come back to our SQL query. So directly again you can modify. Now what I will do is select USN from student. Select USN from student. I'll just execute now. So you can see here only USN is displayed. Right now, I'll write. I hope everyone is following. Now I'll follow. Now I'll display. Select USN from student where name equals to Satya. Okay, because varchar I have given, so it is text string. So I'll just give within single quotes. I'll give because it says text, right? So I'll just give go. What happened? Unknown field name. What is the field name we have given? Yeah, we have given S name. So that's why it is showing error. So select USN from student where S name equals to Satya, right? Then go. You can see here whichever is having S name Satya, it is displaying it. It is displaying it, right? So this is how the select will work with the condition, right? Now what I will do is, before going further with the select, try to insert some more data here so that the clarity will be there. So I'll insert some more data for this. So I'll insert 1, 3, 4. So yes, name is Hari, right? So email is hari@gmail.com. Okay. So I'll also insert one more record, Reddy. So sorry, USN number is 345 Reddy. So reddy@gmail.com. Reddy@gmail.com. So now I'll just go and insert this data. Yeah, now 2 records has been inserted. 2 records has been inserted. Now I can see that data here. Yeah, now I'll go here. Now you see, select, you have seen, select from where you have seen. Now I'll show you the next condition. Select star from student where yes name equals to Satya and I'll just see what will happen now. Ready. So I want to select the data from student table where S name equals to Satya and Reddy. Now we'll see what will happen for this. So I'll just executed this. I just executed this. What happened? It has written empty data. Why it has written empty data? Why it has written empty data? Because, one second, I'll just edit it and then come back. Why it has written empty data? Because I have given select S name equals to Satya and Reddy. So, but it is not able to identify. I'll try to give one more option. I'll make S name here, one more column. Then we'll see what will happen again. Right? So go. Again, what happened? So again, we are getting the same error. Why we are getting same error? See, when I say select from student, where S name equals to Satya and S name equals to Reddy, it should show me. But why it is not showing? What? So when you want to get the multiple records based on some condition, so we need to see what we need to do now. So that we are going to see now, right? Okay, I think I have not shown this search right for you. I'll show the search and then I'll go there. Yeah, so there is an option called search. So if you want to modify any of the data in the search, you can do it, right? So you can use find and replace, table search, all these options here, right? So suppose USN, I'll say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, I'll say like go. Yeah, so you can see here, you are getting the data whichever you are searching. So that also there in your this one. Now, so I'll just come back here, select star from student where S name equals to, I'll try one more possibility now, Satya and Reddy. Now we'll see what will happen. Again, still I'm not getting the data. Why I'm not getting the data? Any idea, anybody? Why we are not getting the data? Because I know some students are from CS and IS. How to get, if I want to get multiple records? Okay, I'll make this single quote. Someone might have got some doubts, or why you are giving double quotes. I'll make single quote. Yeah. So I'll just execute it now. Still I'm getting same problem. Okay. First we'll see whether my syntax is correct or not. I'll give for one data. So I'm getting it 5. So there is no problem with the syntax. But if I want to get multiple data, so how to get it? So I gave S name equals to Satya and I need to give something. I need to give one more name. So how to give that? How to give that? So that we are going to see. Like, see, when you write simple queries, there won't be any problem. When you start writing the complex queries, then only you are going to get the problems. Then only you are going to get the problems. So and is there, R is there, and also you can find out with the conditions. You can also put the like conditions in select. So there are so many queries which we can pass through select. So those queries we are going to see after seeing the update and delete. After seeing the update and delete, I'm going to show you. Now we'll see how to write the update query. Right? So I'll just write update. See, I want all of you to observe this table first. Update student. Sorry. Yeah. Update student. Right? One second. Let me make you much more simpler so that you can easily understand. Yeah. Okay. So this is a syntax, default syntax. So now I'm going to show you based on this. So update table name student set USN equals to, I want to modify it to some USN. I'll change it to 876, right? 876 where, so condition is S name equals to Satya. Okay. So my syntax goes something like this. Update table name student, set USN equals to 876 or 876, where S name equals to Satya. So I'll just delete this. I'm just deleting this. Let me go here. So please see the syntax. Update table name, set the new value which you want to change based on condition. How to give condition? Using the where statement. Using where statement, we are going to give the condition. Please understand, it will be little complex for the students from ECE, mechanical civil, but CSIS people can easily understand. So that's why I'm going very slowly by showing all the errors. So update student name or table name, set the new values where S name equals to Satya. Some condition we want, so I am giving S name as a condition. Now what I will do, I'll just go and execute this query. Now you can see, so two rows affected. So that means two rows are there with the same value. Now I'll just go click my table. So previously Satya ASN number is 123 for both. Now it has become 876. So this is how the update query will work. This is how the update query will work. I'm going to update, write update query once again. Please observe very clearly. Update student set USN equals to 456, comma, name equals to Madhuri, where S name, I think, sorry, it is S name, right? Where S name equals to Madhuri, where, what is the attribute name we gave for email ID? Email, where email equals to s at gmail.com, s@gmail.com. See, I want all of you to understand, please. Update table name, set. Set is nothing but set is a keyword which I am using to update the data. Previously, I have updated only USN. Now I am trying to update two values. USN, I want to make it as 456. Name as Madhuri, where email equals to s@gmail.com. s@gmail.com. Now I'm just going to execute it. Go. Now you can see one row affected. So then I'll just go and see here. So s@gmail.com, where it is. So here it has been updated with 456 and Madhuri. So like this, if you want to update 10 columns at a time, 15 columns at a time, 20 columns at a time, you can do it. So that is the update command. So this is another important command which you need to know, in interview, right? I think everyone is clear with the update command. Then I'm going for the delete. So what is the delete command? First we'll see the syntax here. So delete from student where condition. So I'll just go here only. Delete from student where yes name equals to Satya. So I want to delete the attribute or the field which is S name is Satya. Right now I'll just go ahead and go. One row affected. I'm going here. I'm seeing here. So you can see there is one more attribute with Satya name. It has been deleted. Right? So this is how the delete will work. See, there is another command which is called drop. See, delete. If you want to delete particular row in a table, you can use delete. If you want to drop the entire table, then you can go for the drop. So I'll just go like drop table student. Now we'll see what will happen with this. So I'll just go and say go. What happened? MySQL results empty set. Now you can see here at the sample, my table has been deleted. There is no student table. The entire table has been deleted. So drop is used to delete the table. Delete is used to delete the data in a particular table. Delete the data in a particular table. We'll use delete. If you want to delete entire table, then you can use drop. Then you can use drop. Right? This is update and drop command. This is update and drop command. So we have seen creation of database, we have seen creation of table, insertion of data, deletion of data, updation of data, updation of data. Sir, how to delete entire row or entire column? Yeah, now I deleted entire row. Now I deleted entire row only, because when I say where name equals to Satya, it has deleted entire row. Entire row it is deleted. See, if you want to delete entire column, we need to write constraints. So that constraints we will see how to delete that. Right now I deleted row only. The entire row has been deleted when you give the condition. Yeah. So these are the basic queries which you need to understand. See, as a fresher, these are the queries they are going to ask you in the interview. Along with this, there are select queries. So select has highest priority in database. Select has with different conditions, different ways we can write. Different ways we can write. So I have shown only one or two selection. Now I'll show you one more selection command. Select star from employee. Okay. Where yes name like so. Okay, not as name. I'll give one more attribute like I'll give you. Okay, first you tell me any other questions. So there is one question, how to delete entire row or entire column. As I said, row I have shown now. Column part I'll show you. So now we'll go with the other queries with respect to select. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'll just instead of typing and wasting the time, I'll just show you. I mean, I have already typed content. I'll explain you so that we can do it fast, little fast. 1 minute. I'll be back. Okay, so I am just back. Sorry for the inconvenience. I thought of opening that document. That's why I just went and opened come back. So now I'm just going to create one more table. So I'll take that table, then I'll yeah. So I'm going to create one more table called car. Okay. So I'm just going to create one more table called car. Now I'm not going to take all these things. Don't worry about it. So I'll just take car as integer. I'm not going to take any conditions. Later I'll show you condition part. So I'm just creating one table called car with car ID, name, and price. Right? Price. So which is going to be decimal of 8, 2. So that means it will be 8 digit followed by 2 dots. I mean 2 decimal points. So now I'll just create this table. So this I'm doing little fast because already you know how to create table. I'm going little fast here. So now I create a table. I try to insert some data into the table. So to insert data, so I'm just inserting some data into the table. I'm inserting data using insert query. I'm just inserting multiple insert data queries, and then I'm inserting data. Yeah, now you can see, sorry, now you can see, yeah, see, you can see here, I have created a table called car, which is having car ID, name, price, car ID, name, and price. So car name is some Audi A1, Audi A2, Audi A3, I mean A2. The prices are different prices. Now I'm going to use some select queries which will be useful for you to understand. So first I'm going to create, I mean select one select query. So what is that select query? You can see here. Yes, you can see here. This is another way of writing select query. Select distinct name comma price from car. See, car is my table name. Car is my table name. I want distinct name and price. What is meant by distinct name and price? So whichever there are repetitions, I don't want to take the repetitions. I want to take it unique things, or I want to take it as a once. Right now, what I'll do, I'll just execute this. So previously, you can see there are RD A1, A2, two A2s are there. Now only we are getting A2. You just see the output RD A1 20,000, RD A1 15,000, RD A2 40,000. But actually in table we have one more RD A2 which is having same price and name. So what is my query I have written now? The query which I have written is I want name and price distinct. If there are same name and price for multiple rows, take it only once. Take it only once. So little bit I'll change this query now. So I'll just take it only name. Select distinct name. Actually, we have four rows: RDA1, RDA1, RDA2, RDA2 with different prices for A1, A1. A2, A2 is having same price. But now I want to get, say, suppose multiple elements having same name. I want to get only once. Now you can see only RDA1 and A2 is coming. Why? Because though we have four rows, I have written distinct query. So distinct is nothing but whichever data is repeated, it will be taken only once. It will be taken only once. So that is called distinct. That is called distinct, right? So that is another way of writing the select query. That is another way of writing the select query. Now I'll write one more query in the select. So you just take the same car table, right? Where is the data? Yeah, you can see here the data. I'm writing one more query. Select star from car where. So what is the attribute name we have? Name. Where name like percentage AUD percentage. So what does it will do? What does it will do? It is going to take the values where the name will start with these three characters. Where the name will start with these three characters. We'll see what will happen now. Some error. What is the error? What is the error we are getting? Okay, so small error because I need to give this one in double quotes because it should read as a string, right? So that's why it has taken error. Yeah, now you can see whichever started with AUD, it has taken. So to make you understand much more easier, I'll take price. I want all of you to cleanly observe this, please. I'll take price attribute where price like within percentages, I'll give suppose 200. So then go. You can see here only one is displayed. Only one is displayed because it is the one only starting with 200. So the like query will be used when you want to start getting the data from this. So where you can use all these things is when you have multiple college student data. I want to know the students from RLJIT. So I can say the USN number starts with suppose 1 RLJ. So where USN like within double quotes 1 RLJ, then I'll get all the RLJIT students. Sorry, where I will get the RLJIT students. So any doubts with respect to like, you can ask. Any doubt with respect to like, you can ask. Any question till now, you can ask, please. Any doubt? See, I'm just going to explain all those things. When you practice it, you only get it. No need to worry about that. No questions? Okay, fine. So now I'm just going to show you one more query, which is called order by and limit, which is called order by and limit. So select star from cars. I'm selecting star from cars. Order by some attribute. So I'm taking order by name. Limit to 1. Limit to 1. So what it will do is, so if you want to get the data order, like order by means ascending order or descending order, we'll see, right? Order by name with limit as 1. So though I have 4 records, I want only 1. Now we'll see what will happen. What happened? Some spacing error. Car MySQL does not exist. Okay, it is cars, not cars. It is car. Okay. You can see now, though I have 4 records, I said like order by, then I got only 1 record because I have limited to 1. What I will do is I'll just go to employee. Yeah, we have 2 records here so that you can easily understand first. So what I will do here is I'll write the order by query here. So select star from employee, order by ename, order by ename, limit to 1. See, actually we have 2 records. The first record is Satya, second record is some CCDECD. But if I execute this query, we'll see what will happen, what's supposed to come, what is going to come, right? So the first record is Satya. What is the output we are going to get? We are getting CCEDE. Actually, we are supposed to get Satya, but because we are ordering it, first it is going to order alphabetically. First CCEDE will come, then Satya will come. Within that, it is going to select one, then we'll get that one record here. So this is how order by and limit will work. Order by and limit will work. See, those who are practicing, please practice. You can see the query there itself. You can practice. Any doubts you can ask. So no questions, I'll go further. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to create one more table within MySQL 123. I'm going to show you some more options. So I'll just create one table. The table name is STU1, students 1. I want 4 columns. I want 4 columns. I'm just creating 4 columns. So just click on go. Please see to it. I'm going to have ID, student ID, that is SID. Then I'm going to have yes name. Then I'm going to have I'll say like some joining date, yes date or something like, okay, it will give mobile number or will give yes, yes 1, and I also give yes 2. Some yes values will give. So SID is integer, that is going to be varchar, it is integer and integer. I'll just give size as 10, 50, 20, 20, some size I am giving. So these are the remaining things which I explained. So the one which I came here to explain now is called auto increment. What is meant by auto increment? You can see here there is an option called AI. What is meant by this auto increment? The auto increment is nothing but when I give some attribute as auto increment. When I give auto increment for this, the values will be incremented automatically. It will take like ID value as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No need to give again and again. No need to give again and again. So automatically it is going to take the data. So now I have given auto increment. And also, if you don't want to enter zero value for that, if a particular field should not contain zero, then you can give that as a primary key. That you can give as a primary key. Suppose if you want to have a field without zeros, only one zero allowed, then you can go for unique key. Please try to understand what I am telling. Primary key is nothing but that field will never and ever allow zero values. Unique key also same thing, but it will allow 1 0 value. Suppose if you want to give it as an index, yes, you can give it as an index. That will be treated as an index. That will be treated as a index value like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Right? So these are the 3 things basically you should know here. Primary key is nothing but which is not going to allow zero values or null values. Unique key also same thing like that, but it will allow one null value. Index is nothing but it is going to be the index value which we are going to take, So some error is coming, where it is coming, we'll see. See, don't worry, whatever I'm explaining, I'm going to give you the material. You can practice step by step, it is available. You can practice step by step, you can practice that. What happened to this? Something is wrong. It is not created, it is created. Yeah, it is created. Why it is not showing for me? Okay, data is not inserted. So now I'm just going to insert some data. So SID, no need to insert. Auto increment I gave. So some name I'll give Satya. So age is 30, 40. So I'll give one more S name. S name is Mathur. Then I'll give age 20, 30. Then I'll say go. So the 2 rows are inserted. Where this created table? Why it's not showing me? It's in MySQL only. Yeah, you can see here I have not given SID because there I have given as auto increment. It is taking continuously. It is taking continuously, right? So that is how the auto increment is going to work. That is how auto increment is going to work. Now I'll also insert a couple of data for our better practice. So I'll insert some more data. I'll insert like Hari. So 50, 60. I'll also insert Madhuri. age is 80 and 90, some values, right? So go. So another 3-4 rows inserted. I don't know why it is not showing here. It should show, probably I have given as index, that's why it is not showing. Otherwise it will show here. Yeah, you can see here auto increment has done that. Now it is done. Now I'm going to explain you one more SQL select query. One more select query. So what is this select query is? See, I want to go with select star from stu1 where id is greater than equals to 2 and less than or equals to 3. So I want to see only between these things. Between these things I want to see. Then I'll say go. What happened? ID is not there. Okay. So the column name is SID, not ID. So SID. This is also SID. Now you can see only 2 and 3 data is displayed. Only 2 and 3 data is displayed. Right? So this is how you can use the and in the query, in the select query, to get the data between the given values. To get the data between the given values. Right? So this is how the AND is going to work. This is how the AND is going to work. Are you able to understand, guys? I'm going slowly because I'm just copying, pasting, so I'm going. Are you able to follow me? Any doubts? Any doubts? Please ask if any doubts is there. So this query is also can be written as select star from student where SID between, you can also use between 2, right? I want to go for 2 and 3 because I have only 3, we have 4 values, 2 and 3. I can also do like this. Select student between 2 and 3. You can see here. Again, same output is coming. So between also we will give same output and also will give same output. So here you can use any arithmetic operators like less than or equals to, equals to, equals to. So that is also possible. And if you want to display, I just edit this query. I want to display the other data apart from 2 and 3. I want to display not between. I want to display the data which is not between 2 and 3. Select the student data or student from student table from student where ID not between 2 and 3. Why it is showing error? It should take, right? Not between. Not between 2 and 4. Or we'll take not between 1 and 2. Should take. Why it is showing some error? What is the error? Yeah, you can see here. Not between 1 and 2 means I'm getting 3 and 4. Not between 1 and 2 means I'm getting 3 and 4. Some error it is showing, I don't know why, but not between 1 and 2 is 3 and 4 I'm getting. So you can use between, you can also use not between, right? That is also possible. We have seen like, we have seen and. So what else we can see in the AI select? Okay. We'll see one more. I'll just use one more query. Select. See, you can do any arithmetic operation. Select sum of is 1 from stu1. So I want to take the sum of is 1 out of stu1 table. So select sum of is 1 out of stu1. You can see here it is showing the sum of AS1. In the same way, I can also take select average. Select. Oh, it is not in. Okay. Select average of AS1 from student 1. Now it is going to find out the average. So it is finding the average. In the same way, you can also say select multiplication, not multiplication because we cannot compute multiplication continuously, right? So you can take the what do you say, difference, division of AS1 and AS2. Okay, division it won't work like this because we need to take separately. That I'll show you later, right? So this is how you can take the mathematical operations, sum, average, these things, and what else we can do in selection. What else we can do in selection? Yeah. So could you be able to follow guys? Any questions? Please ask. Any questions are there? Please ask. In selection, there are so many selection types. When and where time requires, I mean, when and where it is helpful, I'll explain you. Any questions till now? Are you able to follow? If you could able to follow, you just put one yes in the chat box. Or any question is there, you can ask. If you could able to follow, put an yes. Or any doubts are there, you can ask. I'm going slowly because everyone, so many students are there of different branches. So that's why I'm just going slowly. Okay, so we'll just take 2 minutes break, not with the queries, not with the class. So we are going to take the break to see how these things can be done in the MySQL also. How many of you installed MySQL? I don't know. I have installed. I'll show you that also. MySQL. Not this one. This is not mine. Perhaps. So I'm just going to install. I mean, install MySQL. I'm just going to take that. So let it get open somewhere. It is getting open. We'll see. See, you have seen XAMPP, how to do all these things in MySQL. I'm just going to show you now. I think I have not given full permission to you. I'll just. Yeah. So those who installed MySQL, if you go here in the search and if you type MySQL, you can see MySQL Workbench. You can see MySQL Workbench. You can see MySQL Workbench, right? So you just click on that MySQL Workbench, then you will come to this screen. Then click on local instance MySQL, which you created. You just click on it. It will ask for the password. If you remember the password which you gave at the time of installation, that you need to give. But most of the times, the default password will be root. The default password will be root. See, as I said, already in XAMPP, I'm using 3306. or 3307, the default MySQL portal. That's why I have changed here to 3308. If in both the areas, see, you can see here I'm using 3306. Here I changed to 3308. If you not change this, again you will get the problem. Your MySQL won't work. So if you're not installed, so just go and change the port number to 3308 or 3310 something. Then click on yes. So it will open our MySQL workbench. It will open our MySQL workbench. Yeah. So this is called MySQL workbench. Like what we did in XAMPP, we can also do it here with the help of queries. With the help of queries. See, in real time, if you are working with the pure database company, your screen will be like this. See, pure database companies like IBM database companies or any Google database companies, those who don't want to go with XAMPP, they can also go with this tool. So this tool also will do same work what we did in the XAMPP. For example, if I want to create database, same query, create database Satya, create database Satya. So I think Satya is already there. Satya 123. So then you go to the query bar and execute. Right? So you can see here one row affected. So one row affected. So that means the database has been created. You can search here whether it is okay. It's just created, not it used. So we'll just go here. Then use Satya 1. Two, three. So if you use database name, want to use that particular database, you can write you followed use database Satya. No need of database also, right? What happened? Not able to create. Just give me a second. Something is wrong here. I have created database. It is telling it is create databases. Okay. So there is some port number error. Okay. Now, if you want to create database, I'll say like Satya 234. So this is a database which I'm going to create. So I'll just execute this query, execute current statement. Okay. So now it has been created. I think so. Again, why error? What is this error? See, this is the best part of MySQL. If you get any error, it will show here itself in a red mark. But it is creating the table somewhere it is going wrong. You can see here the previous databases has been created. Let me check once again what is the problem. Connect to data. Okay. So first dash, that is 330 directly to the host number. Ports required. So there is one question. Ports required. See, I suggest you to use ports whenever you have varchar data. I suggest you to use the ports. That is always suggestible. Why it is taking default? It is not giving me the proposal. Yeah. So now I am in the database here. So I'll just use Satya 234. So now I'm going to use the database Satya. So again, create table student SID varchar of same syntaxes it will work, and s name varchar of 10. Okay, so just close it. Now I am going to execute it. I don't know what is happening. Something is wrong with this. Execute current statement. Create. What is the error we have? No error. No error, nothing. Why it is not giving me permissions? Some clash, some port number issues are coming. I don't know what is the port number issue here. Okay, fine. You can practice here. This is how it will be. I'll try to rectify it tomorrow because I don't want to waste time. So this is how we are going to create a table. This is how we are going to create the table, write the syntax, everything. Everything you can do it here, whatever we did in the XAMPP server. I don't know why the XAMPP, I mean, there is a clash in the port number. We'll try to rectify it later. Now, no need to go for the time waste activities. Later we can do it. So I'll do it, show you in the XAMPP. Tomorrow I'll show you this. Fine. So I'll just come back to my XAMPP server. Hope everyone understood queries as of now. Now I'm going to show you one more activity. See, when you go to real time, you are not going to have only the database or only the data which is going to be like one table, two table, right? One database may consist of minimum 1000 tables, 2000 tables. See, we want to have some operations. Suppose if there is some system crash, or if there is some data which we want to import and export. So there is an option called importing and exporting. So if you go to export, so I'm just taking the same sample example. Now I am in the table student, or I'll go to database MySQL 123. Then I'll go to export. I want entire database MySQL 123 to be exported, right? So now what we need to do is there are different formats you can export. Either you can export in CSV for MS Excel, JSON file, LaTeX file, MediaWiki table, Open table, PHP array, SQL, all these things. I suggest you to use SQL. This is always a better format to export. So just give go. Don't do any changes. Just select SQL and go. Click go. Now what will happen? It will export. You can see here your file has been exported. So I'll just open this. What is there inside? We'll see. I'll just open that. See, once you export the file, don't change anything inside. You can see here whatever queries we have done, creation of table, creation of database, entering the data, all those things will be available here. So tomorrow, if you want this data to be imported again in some other system, go to import. So choose the file which you want to import, right? So mine is exported as MySQL 123. Just import it. Again, same SQL. Then click on go. So now it won't work because already we have MySQL 123. So go. When you click go, it will import all the data. It will import all the data. It is showing already exists. So that's why it is not coming. Otherwise, it will import all the data. So this is called export and import. Export and import. So that means once you create any database, in order to take the backup, you need to export your databases. You need to export your database and save it somewhere. That is always suggestible when you do the projects also. When you are doing the projects also, that is always suggestible. So go ahead and export your database, right? That is one option. Then I'm going to operations. Operations. See here, you can, in operations, you can create a table, right? You can rename the database. Suppose if I want to rename MySQL 1232 to MySQL 456, let me rename. Then go. Right? So it is asking MySQL experience. So I am going to drop MySQL 123. I'm just going to create MySQL 456. Is it okay? I'll say okay. Now you can see it has been changed to MySQL 456, but still I could able to see all my tables. Still I could able to see all my tables. So that means you can do the rename, you can create, you can drop the database. As I said, if you want to drop the tables, you can use drop table, but you can drop the database also. Suppose if you want to copy the same database into some other values, you can also copy. So I want to copy MySQL 456, same features, all features should be there. Copy, go, sorry, one second, copy into 4567. I'll just give the 4567. So copy to 4567. It is happening now. Now you can see one more database created, 4567, which is having the same tables like your 456. So operations will help you out to do that. So if you want to change the collation of the particular database, you can change it here. If you want to give any command with respect to database, you can give the command. You can give the command also. If you want to drop the database, you can also drop the database. So you can say like drop the database itself. So I just dropped it. MySQL 456, it has gone. It has gone now. It is not available, right? So that is called operations. That is called operations with respect to databases. With respect to databases. Next comes your privileges. See, you can see here, there are so many privileges. Now what I'm going to do is, for this MySQL 4567, I'm adding one user account. I'm adding one user account. The username is Satya. I'm not changing the host value. Host, let it be same. The password is Satya123. So password, retype it, Satya123. So authentication, native authentication we are creating. So generate password. It's really not required, but still will. If you want to generate, you can generate system password also. If not, you can give your own password. If not, you can give your own password. So this is privileges. This is called privileges. So what are the privileges you want to give for Satya? You can give here. Whether you want to give only insertion, selection, update, deletion, you can give only this. Or if you also want to give alter, index, drop, all these things, you can give all. If you want to give all the privileges like admin, you can give admin. See, most of the times in real time, you will be listening to a word. Hey, you don't have admin privileges. You have limited privileges. See, this user is only able to create the data. He's not able to delete. So that will be done here. That will be done here. Then before going to create it, you can see here, previously we have only root users. We don't have any other user. Now I have created one more user, Satya. So I'll just go and say go. Go. Now the user has been created. The user has been created. Again, I'm going to the MySQL 4567. I'm going to the privileges. You can see here, along with the root users, one more user has been created, Satya. So he is a database specific because he don't have permission for all these things. He has only permission for MySQL 4567. 4567. Right? So like this, you can create number of users for your database. So when you create it, they will be having only that privileges which you can access. You cannot access any other privileges. So routines I'll talk later. Routines no need. So routines and events, triggers, all those things we can talk. So this is how the privileges has been can be given. This is how the privileges can be given, right? So this is how the operation privileges import and export will be done in the MySQL database. Will be done in the MySQL database. So any questions in this you can ask. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah. So any questions you have, you can ask now. There is one question. Sir, how to add triggers? Okay, triggers I'll show you tomorrow because now you are familiar with the basic commands. So now I'll show you triggers tomorrow because you will get confused if I say everything today only. That's why I'm just going little slow. Triggers I'll show you tomorrow. Triggers, procedures also I'll show you tomorrow. How to write procedures, how to write triggers, I'll show you. Then one more question. Sir, how to delete a particular column? Yeah, particular column, when I show you alter command, I'll show you. So division operation. See, division you cannot do it on the single column. When you want to do it multiple column division, that is possible. When you create the multiple column division, that I'll show you. See the questions which you are asking, I'll show you. Not a problem. That and all alter we need to show alter also. That time alter I'll show you. Stored procedure, yes. I'll explain you stored procedure tomorrow. Stored procedure, triggers, division, alter. These things I'll explain you tomorrow. That are the very important things that I'll explain you tomorrow. Then there is one more. How to implement in multiple tables. How to implement in multiple tables. That is in this is called, what is that? Inner queries. So I'll show you inner queries. Once alter is done, inner queries. Select multiple data. What is meant by multiple data? Like multiple columns. When you say multiple data, is it multiple columns? So Ayaz is asking multiple tables. Yes, I'll show you Ayaz multiple table how to work with. Multiple data. What is multiple data? I didn't understand. Data of two persons. Mean to say, like for example, if I go to employee, I have two people here. You want to see all this data? Select star. If you want to see particular data, select that particular any value you can. Or select EID comma ename. That is also works. Data of two persons. Still, I am not clear. What is another question? Sam, among three people, I want to see only 2% complete data. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So what she is asking is, we have 2 or 3 data. We'll take one. So she's talking about this. We have 4 data. She want to see only 2 employees data or 2 values data. How to work, right? That is what you are asking. You have 4 records or 3 records. Out of that, you want to see only 2 data. How to see that? And I also show you views. How to create views also we are going to show. Not a problem. So See, whatever you are asking, all answers will be done tomorrow. There is one more question, XAMPP. So XAMPP, with respect to XAMPP, any error is there, please send me the screenshot. I'll try to rectify your error through WhatsApp by connecting. Tomorrow morning, if those who are having the problem with your XAMPP, I request all of you to send me the WhatsApp screenshot and also create one Google Meet. You will be having Google Meeting application. Through that, I'll try to rectify your errors. I think 2 or 3 people having the error with XAMPP will try to rectify. How to perform date query in MySQL. So date query means, see, date, you can store it as a date. You can store it as a date, not a problem with the date. Then you can perform like select star or select where, all those things. Yeah, see, inner and outer join is not related to XAMPP. Inner and outer joins are related to MySQL. So you can perform inner joins, outer joins, all those things. That and all basics, that's why I'm not showing you. In the document which I give, you can practice it very well. See, inner joins, outer joins, all are possible in MySQL, whatever you did in Oracle. Triggers, views, class, getting multiple data, all those things I'll show you tomorrow one by one. Tomorrow is going to be fully practical. Today at least we wasted another half an hour to 45 for the installation things. Tomorrow no installation, nothing. Directly we'll start with the queries. There won't be any issue. You can see all the examples, whatever questions you asked today, tomorrow I'm going to answer all those things. Today I want to give you the glimpse of basics of all these things. And after the session, I'm going to share you one document. You can start practicing the basic queries, whatever I explained today with multiple examples. So that when you come tomorrow, you can ask so many questions if you get doubts. Okay? Because I don't want to put everything on your head in a single day. Sir, can you do Java classes? See, actually, I'll do Java, I'll do MySQL, because Java also, as I said, I'm a certified consultant, I mean certified person. I can do Java also. So I'm mostly not me, I'm trying to bring one company expert to conduct Java classes. So probably some people might have filled the form. We are going to have minimal charges to pay for that consultant, like 200 rupees maximum, not more than that. Now we are planning to conduct 2 sessions. One is on C programming, another one is on Java. C programming and Java. So that also we are going to take care. Soon we are going to conduct that. I'll inform you. AWS, no, sorry, AWS we are not doing. The reason is AWS, if you want to do, you need to have certified consultant. Certified consultant will take so much of money. Oracle XCDB, yes, one of the best DB in Oracle version. Data structures, yes sir, we'll plan for one data structure also. See, Oracle XCDB is also one of the best DB. See, if you guys support me, doing any workshop is not a problem. Not only me, I can able to bring the people from the industry who could able to talk to you and get you some information on any technology. Suppose if someone is asking for data structure, if you have a group of 25 members, right, I can bring one person, he can teach you the data structures very clearly within 4 to 6 hours time. I asked Oracle XC, yes, you can use it very well. One of the best DB in Oracle series, which you can make use of to work with. So I think I don't want to rub so many things on today itself. Whatever I explained today, please practice it. I'm also going to share the document within the night in our group. You can take that document, start practicing. Any doubts, tomorrow you can come back. 2 or 3 students having problem with XAMPP. So tomorrow morning after 10 o'clock, anytime you can send me a WhatsApp screenshot. I'll try to rectify your problem also. Right? Okay, thank you so much for joining the session. I'm just going to end the session. It's almost 6 o'clock. So once again, thanks for your patience. Yeah, today's session record video, yes, you will get it, no problem. You will get the record. So thanks for joining the session. We'll meet tomorrow again. Tomorrow is going to be much more effective because I don't want to waste time on the installations. We'll directly go with the queries, right? Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for joining.